Moves by BlueScope Steel to cut 1,000 jobs in New South Wales and Victoria have raised serious concerns about the future of some of Australia's manufacturing sector. The high Australian dollar is being blamed for the downturn, and unions say mining companies need to stop buying cheap steel from China. John Stewart reports.
After losing $1 billion in the past year, BlueScope Steel today announced its days of being a steel exporter are over.
We are facing significant structural change in the global steel industry, and macroeconomic factors as an Australian manufacturer are such that we can't continue to be a steel exporter from Australia.
BlueScope's CEO says the high dollar has made Australian steel far less attractive to overseas customers, and the rising international demand for Australian minerals has also made local steel production far less profitable.
As a steel producer at the turn of the millennium, we were paying about $20 a tonne for iron ore and $25 a tonne for coking coal. Today we are paying over $300 a tonne for coking coal and close to $200 a tonne for iron ore.
3,000 people are employed at BlueScope in Port Kembla, south of Sydney. 800 of them will lose their jobs.
People are going to find struggle. They're going to struggle big time. I feel sorry for people with a lot younger families than myself.
Another 200 jobs will go at the Western Port Steel Mill at Hastings, east of Melbourne. And more jobs will be lost through the flow-on effects to contractors.
If you go into all of the shops, I would say, they're going to tell you that's going to affect each one of us, because this area depends on BlueScope.
We're obviously disappointed. We're also going to lose probably 50 contracts, 50 contractors' work, so it might turn into 300 jobs.
The government has reacted by setting up a $30 million fund to encourage new businesses and jobs in the Illawarra and Mornington Peninsula. The New South Wales government has also chipped in. And the federal government will release $100 million early from the carbon tax compensation package and help workers retrain.
We've also determined to make available $10 million worth of services and support to the individual workers involved. We want to make sure that people do get the services and support they need to help them get the next opportunity, the next job, the next change in their life.
The opposition says the government could help BlueScope by scrapping the carbon tax.
Why is she making a bad situation worse by introducing a carbon tax at the worst possible time, and isn't the best rescue package for the whole economy just to dump this toxic tax?
Yeah. Unions say the artificially low Chinese yuan means imported Chinese steel is cheaper than the local product, and mining companies are buying it rather than Australian steel.
This is the dark side of the resource boom. The workers behind me are the victims of the resource boom. That's why things like a mineral resources rent tax makes sense. That's why having procurement policies, putting pressure on Australian resource companies to use Australian componentry and materials makes sense.
Mining magnate Gina Reinhardt has reportedly sourced railway tracks for a large project from China rather than buying Australian steel. The Treasurer says there is room for Australian mining companies to buy more local steel, but it's unfair to expect companies to buy all of their steel here.
I also know that it is unrealistic to expect that these major projects won't be sourcing a significant amount of product from overseas, because they are very big investments.
BlueScope shares ended the day almost 6% down. John Stewart, Late Line.